Good evening. Merry Christmas to all. I hope you had a very good day. Today I'm going to talk about Sacco and Vanzetti case. I did a video about Sacco and Vanzetti introduction, but this time is Sacco and Vanzetti part 2 to go more in details because I only touch the surface of that ill judgment as written by newspaper and singers and until now we still don't know exactly the outcome of that case. First of all, to summarize the story, the 15th of April 1920, a paymaster and a bodyguard from a shoe company were carrying $15,000 in a bag, and two bandits fired them and took the money and sped by car with three others accomplice and the car was left abandoned in the near forest. The affair, the attempt holdup was, I think, if I remember, done in Massachusetts, St. Braintree, exactly in this county of South Massachusetts, a small town. Okay, people involved in that supposed attempt holdup were Sacco and Vanzetti. First of all, I'm going to talk about the background of both accused. Sacco and Vanzetti were born in Italy and both arrived in 1908. Sacco Vanzetti, his real name is Nicola Sacco. He settled first in Massachusetts, where he he held a different job to be able to feed his family, and throughout his short career of working man, he managed to acquire a lot of skills and had quite a good future. His accomplice was called Bartolomeo Vanzetti, but for him, life was more difficult because he had not the same skills than Sacco, and he struggled to find a job. The two men, when they came to America, didn't know each other, but both men was anarchist. But you have to remember at that time there were the emergence of anarchy movement in all Europe, in Italy, in France, Yugoslavia, and this movement, I think, were the cause of the First World War, and it was gauchist an, anarchy, and I think they meet each other. But the role of this little called corpuscle is to strike factories to ensure better pay for workers and to end the war to make a better society. But in some circumstances, Sacco and Vanzetti managed to escape the hunter to go to war because they were supposed to join the army, but they fled in Mexico and came back after the First World War, but they still remain attached to their cause, to their belief that was the anarchy and the group. If God, because I did a lot of search, was called the Red Scare, and and the Red Scare is really at that time, meaning the influence of Soviet Union, but not called the Soviet Union, the communism. The communism had from 1915-10 to, I would say, to 1970, a good influence in the left wing of the society. Okay, this was just the introduction to the ground of the story, Sacco and Vanzetti Part 2. Now I'm going to talk about more about the robbery. I touch a little bit how the robbery was done and who was involved. When they fired, when the two people carrying money both died, and I think maybe that was the cause of the arrest. What else I can say now? I'm going to talk about the arrest, and 2 weeks after making, attempting doing the robbery, Sacco and Vanzetti was arrested for another motive. They never been arrested for the attempt of robbery at first. When the aim why they've been arrested is the police has set up a trap to arrest someone else, and wrong time, wrong place. They've been arrested while they've been arrested. Sacco and Vanzetti were carrying guns, and they didn't manage to justify why they had guns, and they lie about the motive to have guns. They lie also about what they were doing on the 15th April 1920. And for this reason, the police immediately put 1-1 and arrested them for attempt robbery. But according to Massachusetts law, on your first attempt, there's a little bit clements. The charge are not very high. It should be a low charge. Vanzetti was found guilty, even having many witnesses who talked for him, but most of witnesses were Italian, speaking very poor English, and the judge never been convinced by the presence of witnesses. And from there, Sacco and Vanzetti took a lawyer, a very high-profile lawyer called Fred H. Moore. But Fred H. Moore did understand the belief and did understand why they've been inculped for attempt robbery, because there was no witnesses, no proof linking. The ballistic was not sufficient to prove these people were guilty. And the only charge was against Sacco and Vanzetti was their belief and their appartenance to the Red Scare. And knowing the Red Scare, the communism, was the first battle of the America way of life after the First War. And America has a lot of grudge against the communism, and everyone or everybody was linked to the communism from 1920 to the Macartism, 1953, was seen as a traitor, and also it is important to know the chief of FBI was Grove. Mm, I would say Grover. It is very Edgar Hoover. Edgar Hoover. Edgar Hoover was as created and was put at the helm to the new federal bureau investigation to investigate radicalists, anarchists who started to come in mass in America following the exodus of the hunger in 1920. This is the part two. I will stop there for the part two. Tomorrow I will make part three, starting by the trial. I hope you will. It would be great if you had more details. If you want to know more, please subscribe to my channel and push the like button. And I will carry on Sacco and Vanzetti part 3, the trial, where things began. Merry Christmas to all. Bye.